Another Boeing aircraft has fallen from the sky, but this time, it wasn't the troubled 737 MAX. It was Boeing's flagship wide-body jet, the 787 Dreamliner. Marketed as the future of long-haul travel, lighter, smarter, safer. On Flight AI-271, that future fell apart mid-air. 214 passengers, 13 crew, all gone. And now the world is asking, what went so horribly wrong? And could it have been prevented? The flights seem routine. Air India's AI-271, a scheduled international service. Departure, 1847 local time. Aircraft, Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. Registration, VT-AXR. Conditions, clear skies. Cruising altitude, 35,000 feet. The aircraft had logged over 22,000 flight hours. Its next inspection, just 12 days away. By all measures, this was business as usual until 1954. The plane began a shallow descent, uncommanded. Air traffic control noticed the altitude drop, reached out. The response came back. We have an electrical systems alert, requesting immediate descent in nearest vector, calm but urgent. ATC rerouted the flight toward the nearest diversion airport, but something was wrong. Radio communications became erratic, static, drop signals, interference. 1958, the crew sends out a squawk code, 7700. That's aviation code for emergency. And then silence. 3 minutes later, radar contact vanished. Eyewitnesses reported a deep explosion, followed by plumes of black smoke over remote terrain. When search teams arrived, they found a 3-kilometer debris field, a clear sign of a high-speed, uncontrolled descent. The Dreamliner was gone. How could a modern aircraft like the 787 Dreamliner, equipped with redundant systems and advanced automation, lose control so catastrophically? Investigators are examining 3 main avenues. As investigators comb the wreckage, 3 main theories are emerging. Mechanical failure. The 787 has a history. In 2013, the entire fleet was grounded due to battery fires. The culprit? Lithium-ion power units and electrical bus systems. And while Boeing claimed those issues were fixed, whispers from maintenance staff say this exact aircraft had flagged power irregularities before. Could it have been a dual electrical bus failure? That would impact avionics, flight control systems, even cockpit displays, a pilot flying blind, in partial automation, in degraded control. Insiders claim the black box shows data loss just before descent. That points to a system-wide failure, not a single component. Pilot error or automation overload. Even with technical failures, pilot response is everything. The CVR, cockpit voice recorder, tells a chilling story. No panic, but increasing frustration. Mentions of non-responsive controls and losing vertical stability. They were fighting the jet, but it wouldn't respond. Was it a cascading automation failure? Too much tech, not enough manual override. Even the most seasoned pilots can be overwhelmed when the systems they're trained to trust start to fail. Weather conditions. Officially, the skies were clear, but satellite imagery showed something strange. A high-altitude turbulence pocket, fast-moving, invisible to radar, and possible supercooled icing in the region. Normally, the 787's anti-ice systems would kick in, but if electrical power was compromised, de-icing might have failed. Stall becomes possible. One meteorologist called it a micro-weather event. Tiny, rare, deadly. As the investigation widens, Boeing is once again in the global spotlight. The last time, the 737 MAX disasters in 2018 and 2019. 346 lives lost. A crisis rooted in software failures and regulatory shortcuts. But now it's the Dreamliner, once Boeing's crown jewel. And this aircraft? It came from Charleston, South Carolina, a plant flagged by FAA audits for fuselage assembly gaps, wiring flaws, loose debris in finished jets. Boeing had promised reforms. But did they come too late? Multiple aviation experts now warn this crash could expose deeper problems, systemic ones, cultural ones. Quote from a former Boeing engineer, "There's a pattern here. Speed over safety, warnings ignored, corners cut, and now passengers are paying the price. The crash sent shockwaves around the world. Within 24 hours, Air India announced the grounding of its remaining 787-8 Dreamliners, a precautionary move pending a full investigation. A multinational task force quickly formed. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation, the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, Boeing representatives, and independent aviation experts. The mission: recover the truth and restore public trust. But for the families of 227 victims, there was no waiting. Legal teams mobilized in India, the US, and Europe. Lawsuits are already being filed, some alleging criminal negligence if manufacturing flaws are found to be a root cause. It didn't stop there. European regulators issued a temporary airworthiness advisory focused on 787 power systems. Japan and Australia followed with precautionary checks. While not groundings, these advisories signal serious concern. Global aviation agencies are taking no chances. Behind closed doors, officials are reportedly reviewing certification processes, questioning whether prior red flags were missed or ignored. Boeing's official statement was swift. "We are deeply saddened by the loss of Flight AI-271 and are supporting the investigation. Safety remains our top priority." But for many, those words sound all too familiar. They've heard it before. After the 737 MAX crashes, after every safety audit, after every whistleblower leak, and yet problems persist. Boeing stock dropped 7% in the days following the crash. Analysts warn of a deeper confidence crisis. Will airlines delay or cancel Dreamliner orders? Will developing nations shift toward Airbus? Will passengers lose faith in Boeing's long-haul jets? Whistleblowers are already stepping forward. Several have raised red flags about Boeing's South Carolina plant, the origin of this aircraft. Claims include improper quality checks, missing torque seals, pressure to push jets out faster than inspection teams could verify safety. If this 787 was part of a flawed batch, the consequences could be massive. Internal Boeing emails leaked last year revealed a culture that prioritized deadlines over diligence. One email read, "This airplane is a joke. The process is broken. I wouldn't put my family on it." It wasn't about the 737, it was about the Dreamliner. But behind every headline are lives. Flight AI-271 wasn't just a case file, it carried students returning home, newlyweds on their honeymoon, grandparents visiting family, cabin crew on their final scheduled rotation. Now 227 lives are gone, and hundreds of families are left with grief, rage, and unanswered questions. One father interviewed outside Air India HQ said, "We trusted this airline. We trusted Boeing. We saved for years to send our son on that flight. Now all we get is silence." These are the stories that turn tragedy into global reckoning. This crash isn't just a Boeing crisis, it's a confidence crisis for the entire aviation industry. Modern aircraft are designed to be redundant. Multiple systems, multiple backups, highly trained crews. When all that fails, it means something fundamental has broken. And in an era of automated cockpits, software-driven systems, and outsourced manufacturing, the public is starting to wonder, are we moving too fast and checking too little? As the investigation unfolds, three major outcomes are possible. Design changes. If electrical or software faults are confirmed, Boeing may be forced to issue fleet-wide upgrades to 787 systems, especially those tied to power distribution and flight control logic. Production slowdown. If manufacturing flaws are confirmed, Boeing's Charleston facility could face restrictions or even partial shutdown, affecting global deliveries for years. Legal fallout. Civil suits are only the beginning. If negligence or cover-ups are discovered, criminal investigations could follow, both in the U.S. and internationally. The skies are supposed to be safe, the systems redundant, the training extensive. So when a jet like the Dreamliner falls out of the sky, the world doesn't just grieve, it re-examines everything. Is this just another tragedy? Or is it a final warning? Are we witnessing the growing pains of aviation's future, or the cracks in a system too confident in its own perfection? Flight A, E271 may be gone, but the questions it raises will echo for years. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped you understand what's happening in the skies, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for weekly deep dives into aviation, tech, and global events. And in the comments, tell us, do you still trust Boeing's aircraft? Or is it time for major change? Until next time, stay informed, stay safe.